Applications often have a setup step where new users are required to first fill out some profile info or set up their account before they're admitted further into the app. So let's see how to do that in Plasmic. Here we have this forum app, and when new users sign up, we want to require that they fill out some basic profile info containing their name and bio. And we want to make sure their name is there so that we can always display their name alongside the posts that they have. Now, in this app, we don't currently have a setup page for filling out profile information. So let's first create that kind of page. Let's call this profile setup. And on this page, let's just call it, let's get you set up. And we'll just insert a form here. So this form is going to be pretty simple. It's going to have a name, and maybe the second field here is bio, like so. And what we want to do is when the user is done filling this out, so let's say they say Yang and hello as the information, then we want to create this record in the database. So usually the application has to have some table in the database where it's storing this user profile data. So let's create this onSubmit action where we're going to create that row in the database. So this database is called Form with Users. We want to create a row in the users table, and inside of here we want to set that, first of all, the email of the user to just currentuser.email, and the display name, we want to set this to be in the form, the name, and we also want the bio to be set to, in the form, the bio field. That's it for the form submission. Actually, one more step we want to do is after you've submitted the form, we don't want to just sit there with as if nothing happened. We want to take you away to a different page. So let's say we're going to, just for simplicity, let's take you to the home page. All right, so that's it for the profile setup. Now, the last thing we want to do is make sure that certain pages are protected. So if you try to access a page, it'll first force you to set up your profile if you haven't already set it up. So let's see how to do that. Let's say this new thread page. So this is one that we want to protect. And whenever you come to this page and you haven't set up your profile, we want to redirect you to that profile setup page instead. And to do this, we're going to insert a special component called the condition guard. This is kind of an advanced component, but it lets us specify some condition we want to make sure is true. And only if that condition is true, it's going to show the contents. Otherwise, it's going to run some action. So to see this in action, let's say the condition we want to ensure is always true is that the current user has a display name filled out. So we're going to look at the display name variable here. So this custom properties, by the way, this is, if you haven't seen our video on custom properties, this is just a way you can make additional user data from your database available on the current user variable. All right, so we're ensuring that the current user has a display name filled in, and if he does, then the contents will be shown. So we're going to drag the contents of the page into this condition guard, since we don't want to show anything if they haven't filled out their profile information yet. And if they haven't filled out the profile information yet, we want this to run. So in this case, we want to go to the profile setup page. So we're going to whisk away the user to this page if they haven't set up their profile. So that's it. All right, let's see this in action. We're going to publish this. So in this app, let's say I'm going to sign in as a new user. And let's try creating a new thread. Because we haven't set up a profile yet, we're redirected to this profile setup page. And here I can start filling in my profile info. So maybe something like this. Hit submit. And now I'm taken to the home page. Now I can actually go to the new thread page and start filling in the information for a new thread. Let's say that we actually wanted to protect all pages in our app instead of just this new thread page. So the way we can do that is, first of all, let's move the page contents out of the condition guard and select this condition guard. I'm hitting Command X to cut it to the clipboard. And now we're going to double click on this page layout. So this is the common page layout that's used on all pages in the app. And in here, if we select the slot that is for the main body content of the page, around this is where we can insert that condition guard instead. So we're going to paste that condition guard here, and let's move the slot contents into the condition guard. So basically this means that the condition guard is going to hide whatever is the main contents of whatever page based on the condition that you've set here. So as long as they've never filled out their display name, that means we're going to not show the main contents, and we're going to instead redirect them to the profile setup page. Now, the tricky thing here is that this is also going to apply to the profile setup page, because the profile setup page also has, it's using the common page layout. And so it's also going to be protected by this. So this is going to lead to this thing continuously trying to redirect us to the profile setup page, even though we're at the profile setup page. And so there's a way you can set in the condition guard to ignore certain paths. So in this case, we want to ignore the profile setup page. That's an exception here. So that's how you can implement a flow that requires the user to first set up some basic profile info.